Hi. First and foremost, for anyone that's been here through all of this, for all the people that have subscribed to this channel and have watched the absolute ride that it's been here, I wanted to extend a thank you, a really deep, heartfelt thank you through all watching me, through all the tearful moments, through some of the rambling, through the ahas, through the insights. Um, I've done most of this path alone, and this channel has been an outlet for me, has been a way to just get stuff up and out and present it in its rawest form, in an unedited form. And I experienced some pretty challenging times sitting in front of a camera and just letting stuff hang out. Many times I didn't know what I was going to say, had no idea how it would be received. And I think that was a really good exercise in um, having if we want to call it the ego, having the ego challenged, and dissolved in its own unique way. So now there's new stuff coming up, and I wanted to bring to the table some stuff that I've learned. And having done this path by myself for so long, without the guide or the without being under the watchful eye of a teacher, so to speak, or having a whole lot of accountability in these areas. A lot of this was stumbling around, and it was stumbling around through extreme trauma, through a nervous system that had been wired for fight or flight, mostly fight or medicate. And as a result, it was a slow process. I've been in this, the first Kensho, the first awakening was 15 years ago in a prison cell. And it's been just this absolutely wild ride. The last 6 months have seemed to really get into some of the core stuff for me, stuff around love and safety, which is always at the bottom of this. And recently, my teacher talked to me and said, it's time to start bringing some of this stuff to the table. And bringing this stuff to what that means is sharing my takeaways from it. There were a lot of things that I discovered that were beneficial that I kind of almost stumbled in the dark and then grabbed onto. And after the fact, I went, hey, that really, really worked. So I'm going to start mapping this stuff out along with continuing to share with how it's going here and how this ever unfolding process continues for me. I don't know that I'll share a lot in terms of in the areas of things like the transcendent or having when the self falls away, or what it's like to be in some of these really peak states, as those land differently for everybody. More, it's the focus on what I experienced, what worked for me, what was in the moment, boots on the ground, what were my perspectives, what were my judgments about it, where did I have remaining identity structures, what was getting in the way, as it were, from the unraveling of the personality and the identity structure. What were the really, really big challenges that I came across? I seem to have come across almost all of them. I discovered along the way that I had trauma that I had no idea that was still in there, that it was just a normal operating system for me, that was just normal life. I found myself in relationships and where I discovered that I had a severe anxious attachment personality style, which took me completely by surprise. I discovered that I had lenses that I did not know I had, and this is post Kensho, that were really affecting how I viewed this existence, this world that I created, how I moved through it, how I saw myself through it. Some were very gross, not as in disgusting, but just very obvious and sort of um, right in front of my face. And then others were very, very subtle. And as I moved down into these core beliefs, these core identities, and then had each one take me by surprise, I found that there were certain things that I was able to do, or certain ways of letting go, or certain ways of framing it that were generally the exact opposite of how I was previously framing things, how I was previously interpreting it. That really helped me along the way. So it's going to be a challenging process for me. My memory, I have the memory of a goldfish at this point. It really is just a lot of whatever is happening. So I have to try to dig back into those dusty corners. But I know that there's a group of us that seem to circle the outside of the awakening community. Most of us, I call us trauma folks, and we're the outcasts, and we're the weirdos, and we're the ones that don't necessarily have a very placid personality, or we're really fiery, or we're really, really shut down and withdrawn and just locked into this little shell where we don't reach out, where we might just sit on the side silently spectating. And those are my people, you know. Those are my people. Those are the people I'm reaching out to. Those are the people where I'm just going, okay, I'll go first. I'm not going to do it in a perfect way. I don't have the 10 steps to enlightenment. I don't have the 3 easy steps to conquer fear. I have this really fucking visceral, just grinding through stuff moment by moment, ways that seem to unfold here. And in sharing that with you guys, maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll be beneficial. If it doesn't um, come out as some kind of really structured thing, that's okay for me. It's more of just saying, hey, we're not alone in this, that there are others that experience the extremes that we don't want to talk about, that we don't necessarily want to share. So I'm going to be mapping a lot of those out as they come. And I'm excited. I'm excited. It's been a long road for me, a very long, a very lonely, a very, very painful road. Also, it had a lot of really beautiful insights. And I would in no way say that I was done. It's just that it felt time to start bringing my takeaways to the table. So if you guys have made it this far, for all the comments, for all the support that I've gotten, I'm so grateful for everyone that it's been there. And they have absolutely helped. To have someone else say, man, I feel that too, or keep going, or I feel what you're going through, or any of that has been sort of um, my own little community, my own little group of people that were speaking up and just signaling like, hey, we're here too. You know, we can have the self drop away. We can create massive amounts, or we're not necessarily create, but we can move into massive amounts of emptiness and clarity. And yet we're in a body. And there's a very human aspect to this entire awakening and community, or just knowing that you're not the only one. So I'll be gearing a lot of stuff towards that in the coming, I'd say, weeks, and probably just moving forward with the channel. So for all you guys that are out there struggling, you got this. I think it's really, really important to know that this entire game is rigged in your favor. It's custom tailored for you. It really, really is. How could it not be, right? How could it not be? Even the most challenging things that we come up against, the things that we hate, the things we can't stand, the things that we avoid the most and run the other way at top speed. These are the things that are generated for us. So you guys got this. And it doesn't take much. It takes a tiny bit of willingness, I think, maybe a tiny bit of courage, and an awful lot of grace, which is what I experienced. So again, much love, and I'll see you guys here. Thank you so much for your support.